All right, my friends, so I'm listening to Dave Ramsey rant about Social Security. And his rant actually makes sense if you're coming at it from Dave Ramsey's perspective, which he believes your mutual funds can outperform delaying Social Security. So you can't have it both ways. What I mean by that is, let's just say Dave Ramsey is right and you can do better in your mutual funds, because he always talks about growth and income. I don't even know what he talks about. But anyway, all right, so, okay, that's fine. If you are convinced that you can do better investing, then you absolutely should take Social Security early to set up as part of your estate, like old Dave talks about. Without question, it's not debatable. If you can do better investing than Social Security, you should take it early. And this is where the whole issue with Dave Ramsey comes in. I mean, he thinks he can get 12% small caps, 10% large and whatnot. I think most of us don't agree with that. We think we can't get 12% small caps, 10% large. And so my thought is you get 7%. 7% is not as equivalent to the rate of return you get on Social Security as a guaranteed investment, by the way, with no downside risk at all. None. But Josh, they could suspend your benefits. Okay. All right, that's, I'm not going to debate that because we're bordering silliness here, in my opinion. But either way, you got a guaranteed rate of return on Social Security of 8% for each year you delay taking the benefit. Your mutual funds, if you believe you can get 10% a year, let's just use that, then you should take Social Security early and reinvest it. I have no qualm with that at all. But please don't sit there and say you think you can take Social Security, you should take Social Security early and invest it if you're not going to get, and then turn around and say, but Josh, your 7% rate of return, that's crazy talk. That doesn't make sense. You can't sit there and say Social Security is bad, thus I'm going to take it and reinvest it in stuff and I don't think 7% a year is a good number to invest in. That doesn't make any sense at all. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is you can't have it both ways. You can't say Social Security is poor, investment returns are poor, so I'm going to take it early and invest it because I can do better than Social Security system. That doesn't make any sense at all. Either you believe, like Dave Ramsey is, that Social Security is underperforming what you could get by delaying it, or you believe like I do, which is Social Security will give you a better rate of return than you can get by investing. One of those two, they're mutually exclusive. You can't have both. You can have one. So for me, as I sit there and say, you're not going to be able to beat the rate of return of Social Security at its 8% guaranteed with cost of living adjustments with no risk whatsoever. Thus, because you can't, because I think you're only going to get 10% over the next 7% in a fully invested stock fund on average over the next 10 years with significant downside risk, it doesn't make any sense for you to take Social Security early and invest it. It doesn't. And the reason for that is because Social Security is guaranteed to give you a better rate of return than what's called the ERR, expected rate of return. My expected rate of return on a full stock portfolio is 7%. Social Security's guaranteed return is 8%. Thus, it makes no sense for me with an expected rate of return of 7% to take Social Security and invest it. If you think that 7% rate of return is Pollyanna, it makes even less sense for you to take Social Security early and invest it. It doesn't make sense. That literally is not logically sound thinking. It's not. Now, again, if you think you can get a better rate of return, more power to you. I don't see why you would think that, but that's fine. That's fine. If you think, well, at least let's just say you think you're going to die when you're 70 years old and you want to make sure you have some asset available to leave to your heirs, that's fine too. By all means, take Social Security early, but don't take it on the presumption that you're going to do better than they are going to do. You take it on the presumption you want to make sure that there's money there for when you die. That's fine. I would argue that if you're married, though, like the guy who just called in Dave Ramsey show, he's married. Dave said when he dies, Social Security stops. It's simply not true. That's just, again, irresponsible, man. That's not true. If he takes it later, his spouse will get the bigger of her own benefit or the surviving or the decedent's benefit. I mean, anyway, so there's some logic that needs to go in this, and Dave's logic is sound if you agree with Dave on rates of return. My logic is sound if you agree with me on rates of return. You can't have Dave's logic and my logic at the same time, though. You have to give up something in order to make this logically sound. All right, we'll see you next time.